How to get a Canadian work permit. Canada is a land of opportunity, known for its diverse culture, strong economy, and high standard of living. Many people from around the world aspire to work in Canada, and obtaining a Canadian work permit is a crucial step in this journey. This guide will walk you through the process of getting a Canadian work permit, outlining the types of permits available, eligibility requirements, application procedures, and tips for success. Types of Canadian work permits. Employer-specific work permit. This permit allows you to work according to the conditions specified on your work permit, such as the name of the employer, location, and duration of employment. To get this permit, you usually need a job offer from a Canadian employer, and in many cases, a labor market impact assessment. Open work permit. Unlike the employer-specific permit, an open work permit allows you to work for any employer in Canada, with a few exceptions. This type is typically available to spouses of skilled workers or international students, recent graduates from Canadian institutions, and participants in specific programs like the International Experience Canada, IEC. Eligibility requirements. The eligibility criteria for a Canadian work permit vary depending on the type of permit you are applying for. General requirements include job offer. For an employer-specific work permit, you need a valid job offer from a Canadian employer. Labor market impact assessment, LMR. Many work permits require an LMRA, which shows that there is a need for a foreign worker to fill the job and that no Canadian worker is available to do the job. You may need to provide evidence of your education, work experience, and any necessary professional licenses. You must demonstrate that you have enough money to support yourself and any accompanying family members during your stay in Canada. Health and security. You may need to undergo a medical exam and provide a police clearance certificate to prove you're not a security risk. Intent to leave. You must convince immigration officials that you will leave Canada at the end of your authorized stay. Steps to apply for a Canadian work permit. Determine the type of work permit you need. Identify whether you need an employer-specific or open work permit. Your eligibility and application process will depend on this decision. Secure a job offer. For most work permits, you need a formal job offer from a Canadian employer. Ensure that the offer includes all necessary details, such as job title, duties, salary, and working conditions. Obtain a labor market impact assessment. If required, your employer must apply for an LMIA from Employment and Social Development Canada. A positive LMIA confirms that hiring a foreign worker will not negatively impact the Canadian labor market. Gather required documents. Prepare all necessary documents, including your job offer letter, if applicable, proof of qualifications, passport, and any other required documentation. Complete the application form. Fill out the appropriate work permit application form. You can apply online through the Immigration, Refugees and Citizenship Canada, IRCC, website or submit a paper application. Pay the application fee. Pay the required fee for processing your work permit application. The fee varies depending on the type of permit and whether you are applying online or on paper. Submit your application. Submit your completed application along with all supporting documents and proof of payment. If applying online, ensure all documents are uploaded correctly. Biometrics appointment. After submitting your application, you may be required to provide biometrics, fingerprints, and a photo at a designated application center. Attend an interview, if required. In some cases, you might be asked to attend an interview with a visa officer. Be prepared to discuss your job offer, qualifications, and plans in Canada. Wait for processing. Processing times vary depending on your country of residence and the type of work permit. You can check the current processing times on the IRCC website. Receive your work permit. If your application is approved, you'll receive a letter of introduction and, if applicable, a temporary resident visa to enter Canada. You'll get your actual work permit at the port of entry. Tips for a successful application. Ensure complete document. Incomplete applications are a common cause of delays or rejections. Double-check that all required documents are included and correctly filled out. Highlight your qualifications. Clearly demonstrate how your skills and experience match the job requirements. Include detailed resumes, reference letters, and any relevant certifications. Stay honest. Provide accurate and truthful information throughout your application. Misrepresentation can lead to denial and future bans from entering Canada. Follow instructions carefully. Adhere strictly to the instructions provided by IRCC, including document formats, application forms, and submission guidelines. Consult an immigration professional. If you're unsure about any part of the process, consider consulting a licensed immigration consultant or lawyer to guide you. Post-arrival requirements. Once you arrive in Canada with your work permit, there are a few additional steps to ensure compliance with Canadian laws and regulations. Social insurance number. Apply for a SIN, which is required to work in Canada and access government services. Health insurance. Depending on the province, you may need to apply for health insurance coverage. Check with your employer and local health authority for details. Adhere to work permit conditions. Follow all conditions specified on your work permit, such as the employer's name, job location, and employment duration. File taxes. As a temporary worker in Canada, you are required to file taxes on your Canadian income. Obtain a tax identification number and stay informed about tax deadlines and requirements. Renewing or extending your work permit. If you wish to continue working in Canada beyond your permit's expiration date, you need to apply for a renewal or extension before your current permit expires. The process involves submitting a new application with updated information and supporting documents. It's advisable to apply at least 30 days before your current permit expires to avoid any legal issues. Pathways to permanent residency. Many temporary foreign workers in Canada choose to transition to permanent residency through programs like the Canadian Experience Class, Provincial Nominee Program, or the Express Entry System. Gaining Canadian work experience can significantly enhance your eligibility for these programs. Conclusion. Getting a Canadian work permit is a multi-step process that requires careful preparation and attention to detail. By understanding the types of permits available, meeting eligibility requirements, and following the application procedures meticulously, you can increase your chances of success. Whether you're seeking new career opportunities, looking to gain international experience, or hoping to eventually settle in Canada, a work permit is your gateway to achieving these goals.